What's going on, guys? Welcome along to another video. I'm Matt and today we're taking out this Kawasaki ZX4RR from Completely Kawasaki in Yeovil. This is the first test ride of 2024, so no more talking, let's jump on it. Feels good to be back on two wheels. Where else to start off then but on the engine. This is an all new inline 4 engine by Kawasaki, producing 399cc, 76 brake horsepower and 39 newton meters of torque. Now this bike revs over 15,000. I think the top red line is 18,000 RPM. It means you need to rev this and you're going to have to play around with the gears, and that's okay. We don't mind having a little bit of fun having a high revving engine. This bike is only going to come in the traditional Kawi green, and I tell you what, I think it looks really nice. I think the colour scheme throughout and also just the styling overall, Kawasaki have done a really good job at bringing down that styling from the ZX10 down into the lower tier bikes. Let's face it, we all want to look like the big brother, but with the price range that's nowhere near it. Talking about price points, this bike is coming in at £8,700. It is on the upper scale of prices for a 400cc bike. Let's face it, there's other bikes 700cc's that are probably cheaper. Now it is beginning of January. I've had a good Christmas. I'm 6'1", 115 kilos, there or thereabouts, and you know what, even for a person of my size, actually this bike fits me really well. I'm in a semi-aggressive riding position, which you would expect from a sports bike, but I'm not bent over so much that all the weight is on my wrists. Actually, there's very little weight on my wrists, which I appreciate, I like. I've got time for that. The tank is nice and small, my knees are tucked in, I'm just kind of fitting the bike very well. Looking at the suspension and the brakes on this, we do have Showa inverted forks, and we've got twin 290mm discs at the front and a single 220 at the rear. Like I said, I'm not a light bloke, but the suspension on this is handling these back rows really nicely. So far I'm not bouncing around, I'm not getting pogoed, not getting any jarring through the back, so it is nice to see. Handling, the ground is damp and this bike has only got 160 miles on, so I'm not going to be banking it over too far. But the handling, it does feel nice and light, it's easy to flick around. I'm going to put it out there and say, if I was to buy a track bike, I'd be looking at this. I'm never going to get the use out of a big bike on the track, so 100% I'd go small. I'd get something like this. This would be perfect. Just pulled over quickly. Remember, 6'1", both feet are flat on the floor because this bike has a seat height of 800mm. That's tiny, it really is. The handling is aided because of the weight is kept really nice and low, 189 kilos, and whether it be when you're riding and flicking it around, or when you're stationary and you're kind of moving it around the garage, let's say, you can really feel how light this bike is. Like I said, the tank is small, doesn't have the biggest capacity, 15 litres, but actually with the fuel in on this bike, you're going to get plenty of miles out of that tank. This being the RR, it does have quick shifter up and down, which is really nice to see. Something that, for me, just enhances any performance of any bike. I love a quick shifter, and as you'd expect with Kawasaki, it's super smooth. This is one of those bikes that won't get you in trouble regularly, but it can. If you ride it properly, rev the tits off this thing, of course you can go speed. Actually, this is a really good beginner bike. Comfortable, lightweight, power's not gonna catch you out. And then on the other end of the scale, someone like myself, a bit more experience, I could have this and I could enjoy it, it's comfortable, but also I could take it on track and have some real fun on it. The brakes on this are actually really good. Really strong, really sharp. I'm impressed. Because it does have such a high rev point, you can leave this in third and you just keep going. As stock exhaust goes, obviously there's not a whole lot of tune coming from it. When you start getting up on the rev range, actually it sounds pretty good, but I would put a new exhaust on this just to liven it up that little bit more. So down low, nothing really to shout about, but like I said, when you start getting up in that rev range, it does sing a little bit. Let's have a look at some of the electronics then. So we've got LEDs all round, something we've come to expect nowadays, very nice. We do have a colour TFT hitting in around the 4.5–4.3 inch, not the biggest, but it is clear, it's inverted colours, so black background, white. Writing, I've had no problems reading it. And this is the thing, it's nice and light, so I can reverse. If I was on the GSA, I would not be pushing this back like this that easily. This does have Bluetooth connectivity to your phone. We've got 4 rider modes: Sport, Road, Rain and Rider. Obviously Sport is going to give you the maximum kind of aggression on the throttle and full power, and then Rain goes up to about 70–80% full power. So there is going to be a nice difference between those two sport modes, but like I said, I'm riding around today, the ground is wet and I'm comfortable leaving it in sport mode because it's not going to get you in a whole lot of trouble. But to change between those rider modes, left hand side you've got those arrows, you're going to push and hold up to go up from Rain up to Sport, and then down arrow vice versa from Sport down to Rain and Rider. But I've had no problems with the rear wheel kicking out, even in the damp terrain that we've got now. I'm going to assume as well when you change rider modes that the traction control will internally change with them. Wind protection, as you can see, there is a very small screen on this. Where it's so small, the wind's going to hit me at the middle of my chest, which means there's kind of clean air going onto my helmet. So yeah, there is wind hitting me, but where it's clean air, I'm not getting any strange buffeting from it. Listen to that quick shifter. Overall, as a complete package, I'm really impressed with this. The only thing I'm not overly impressed with is that price point. Like I said, we're paying a lot of money for a 400cc bike. We want people to be getting into riding at a young age. These are the type of bikes that they want to be buying, but who can afford 8.5 grand when you're starting off? It would be nice if the top tier manufacturers were bringing down the price of their lower cc bikes. Otherwise motorcycle's going to be a dying breed. It's just going to be us old farts on adventure bikes. Let's go find somewhere to pull over and have a little look at the bike. Whilst we're going nice and slow, let's have a little chat, you and me. For 2024, my goal is to get this channel to 10,000 subs. Now we hit 5,000 just before Christmas time, I think, or just before New Year's. So my aim 10,000 by 2025. You need to make this happen. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and you'll get notified whenever I drop videos. Help a brother out, help a channel grow. Let's make it a good year. The engine and quick shifter on this, pretty much like all Kawasaki's, is super smooth. Just ay. Kawi do a really good job of their fueling, their quick shifters, just all of it. Well done, Kawi. Well done, you. Said it before, I'm going to say it again, the brakes on this are so good for this bike. It's a cold one today, but that hasn't stopped me getting out and enjoying this bike. I must say, I'm actually enjoying it more than I thought I would for a little 400. If you jump on it and don't expect too much, then actually it will surprise you. It's when you jump on it and you're expecting more. It's an inline 4, 399cc, revs 18,000. Like, you need to play around with the bike and, like I said, really have some fun with that rev range. She's a little bit dirty now because the roads are absolutely hacking, but look at the styling of this. Like I said, they've just pulled the styling from the ZX10 and they just whacked it all over here. Haven't mentioned the rear suspension, but it's laying down there exactly the same as the ZX10, and I believe that is fully adjustable as well. A nice sleek rear end. Me personally, I'd get rid of the number plate and I put a nice little tail tidy on there just to kind of tidy that up a little bit more. Now, I don't believe there's many ZX4RRs demo bikes in the UK. From my understanding, someone in completely Kawasaki knows this, knows there's a full shot, so he personally bought this bike and has put it onto their demo fleet. So if you do want to jump on one, head over to Yeovil, completely Kawasaki, and it's there ready and waiting for you. Remember, 800mm seat height. I'm 6'1". Making this so easy to handle. You're not going to be worried about dropping it or anything, but still, even for someone of my size, like I said, fits really, really nicely. I've had a day sack on throughout this ride. My back's not hurting, my wrists aren't hurting. Overall, really impressed. Well guys, I'm going to finish the video there because there's nothing else to cover off on this. I think it's a good bike, so go and test ride it if you are in the market and you're, like I said, beginner rider, new rider. This is definitely one you should be checking out, get that sport bike feeling. If you've enjoyed it, found it helpful, give us a like. More importantly, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I want to get to 10,000 subs in 2024, so let's make that happen. Well, I'm going to go and put some clothes on because it's freezing, and until next time, ride safe.